Hi, Saran.
Hi.
How are you?
All right.
All right. So last session we caught up, we did a full assessment. So you'd gone home and you sort of were telling me you're a little bit fed up with rehab, which I completely understand. How are you going now?
Well, I'm here, I guess. I mean, like I said last week, I'm just so tired and sick of everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'd rather just be left alone and do nothing.
I absolutely understand that because it's been quite a long time and people you just do get sick of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I guess the main thing is from our perspective, we did touch on this a bit last week, that even though you're really tired and you have had enough of rehab, it's still important in relation to your general health to keep as active as possible. So it's the really great thing is that you're here. So you've come back. It's a really positive start. So, but I guess it is important to keep having these conversations because we want you to stay healthy, and you're only a young person, so
Yeah.
want you to stay healthy for as long as possible.
Look, I know you're trying to help, but it's hard.
Yeah, I completely understand that. It's, being active when it's not really your day-to-day stuff is hard for everyone, let alone when you've got a lot of barriers and issues you've got to navigate with that as well. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to talk about setting up some sort of a plan which is really focused in on you and your interests, and if we can engage you a little bit with things that you're interested in doing, things that are meaningful for you, that might be helpful rather than just giving you a generic sheet of exercises. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Give it a go. Yeah. So I mentioned about that toolkit, so we're going to have a look at that today, and there's a few resources in it we can work through. Does that sound all right? Okay, so this is the toolkit here on the screen. There's some information here which I can show you that later, but we'll get into it, I think. So the first thing we'll do is, I need to register. So just register here, and we're working with the patient. Okay, so I think we'll start here with this quick 5 assessment because this will give us just a starting point and help me to understand a little bit more about you as a person. So I'm going to type into this as I ask you the questions, if that's okay. So can you tell me how important it is for you to do exercise and keep active?
I guess I didn't really do much before, so I wouldn't say it's important, but I probably know I feel guilty if I laze about.
Okay. But in general, it's sort of not something that's terribly important to you. Okay. What did you used to like to do before your stroke to keep active?
Played a bit of social netball. I
Sounds
used
fun.
to. I did gardening. I like that.
Yeah.
A bit of cooking, baking. Guess that's about it.
Okay. Cooking. Yep. What are the main things in your life that are sort of the most meaningful? What would you say sort of main interests are?
My family and my dog Moose, I guess.
Moose?
Yeah. Yeah, I love
So
him.
cute.
He's been
What
missing
sort of dog
out.
is he?
He's a Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is there anything else?
I don't know. I mean, I like cooking. I certainly love baking. And otherwise I've got a vegetable garden, but...
Okay, you said the garden a couple of times, haven't you, really?
There's so many weeds out there.
Oh, it's full of weeds at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so much fun when you're looking out to the weeds. Do you have people in your life, such as your family or friends, who you think would be keen to see you be more active?
Yeah, I reckon my kids. I mean, they certainly miss the baking. Probably Moose too, because I can't get to take him for walks.
Yeah. Oh, poor old Moose. Is someone else taking him for a walk?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. That's not much fun for him. In terms of exercise and physical activity, what would be sort of one target that you'd really like to do sort of over the next few weeks? Have you got anything in mind?
No, I can't think of anything.
No? Okay. That's all right. That's what we're going to do today, is explore that a little bit more. Okay. That's great. So those 5 quick questions, we're going to download that and then we can keep a file of that and come back to that afterwards.
Okay.
Later on. Okay, now the next step is to think, if you as a person that we're working with feels ready to be more active, has an idea what they want to do, sort of identified any potential barriers. I sort of get the feeling that you're probably not at that stage yet.
No.
No, okay. All right, so I'm going to tick no on this box here, and that's going to take us through to stages of change assessment. So what that means, it's a big fancy word, but basically when we're trying to start behaviour or change behaviour, we go through these stages of change, which start from not interested, not doing it, through to, yep, super active and maintaining activity. So this little tool here with just 4 little questions will help me work out where you're at on that stage. I kind of feel like I know anyway, but I'm just going to ask you those if that's all right. So the first question, are you currently doing some physical activity or exercise? So you're a no on that one. Do you intend to start doing some physical activity or exercise in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I suppose I know I should.
You know you should. Okay. All right. So I probably don't need to ask you these second 2 questions because the answer that you've given me here is that, you know, that you're not active, but you kind of feel like you know you should. So you're at a stage 2. So if we can go back here and we'll go to stage 2, and that's going to take us through to a few other resources that we can look at. So we might start with this one because this is going to really help us explore some of the barriers that you might be having, okay? So this is called the COM-B assessment. And what that means is when it comes to sort of behaviour change, which is, I guess, what we're asking you to do, because we're asking you to, you know, work towards being adherent to an exercise program. There's 3 main factors which can influence our behaviour: capability, opportunity and motivation. Capability sort of sounds obvious, isn't it? You know, can you physically do something? But it's also your sort of what we call your psychological capability. So do you remember? You know, can you make decisions about things? Those sorts of things. Then there's opportunity, which is around physical opportunity. Do you need equipment? Do you have the time? Do you have the money? Those sorts of things. Do you have people to support you if you need? And then motivation, which I think we're getting a little sense is probably one of the main things for you. But I think it would be useful for us to explore that a little bit more. So just as an example, like I was talking to my friend recently, we were talking about that we would like to learn to surf, which sounds a little bit out there, but you know, obviously I'm motivated and I do have opportunity because I often go down to the beach, but probably capability is what I'd have to work on there. So it just varies for different people depending on what their target is. So let's think about that a little bit. So I guess you've mentioned gardening a couple of times. So let's think about that. So if I was going to say to you, okay, Saran, in order for you to be able to do, say, 20 minutes in the garden every day or every second day, what would it take? So these are some of the prompt questions around capability. So would you need to know more about why it was important?
Probably. I mean, everyone keeps going on that why I need to keep moving, but no one's actually really explained it.
Okay, that's important then, isn't it? Sort of understand a little bit more. Okay. What about, would you need to know more about it, about how to do it?
Well, I know how to garden and know how to walk.
Yep. Okay, so that's all good. Would you need to have better physical skills?
Yeah, I guess I'm still pretty wobbly on my feet. Can't really use my hands, so
Okay.
I don't think I could do any gardening.
Okay.
And I don't think I could walk for very long.
Okay.
Still get super tired.
All right, I'm just making that a bit smaller. So is there anything else from this list that you think would be a limitation in terms of capability?
Yeah, well, there's that physical stamina, like I'm still really tired.
So stamina. Yeah, so your endurance. Yeah, okay. All right, so it sounds like for capability it's more about the physical stuff, but also understanding why it's important to keep active and have an activity program. So let's think about in relation to opportunity. So for you to sort of be able to do that sort of 20 minutes in the garden, would you need to have more time?
I have heaps of time.
You got heaps of time, so that's not a barrier. Money's probably not so relevant there. What about necessary materials? If you're going to be gardening or going for walks with moose, is there anything that you are lacking?
So I did think about taking Moose for a walk the other day, but I've got really big holes in my shoes.
Oh, okay, that's not good. It started to rain a little bit, so that might be something we need to think about there, that you might need new shoes. Yeah. What about other people around? So you said you feel a little bit wobbly still. Is there other people around that can kind of keep an eye on you a little bit?
Well, my son's always around, but he's on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I don't think he's probably interested at all, but I guess my daughter Jasmine might be good. She
Okay.
works and goes to uni, but...
Okay, all right. So in relation to the new shoes, I guess that kind of links back a little bit to money. So if it's okay to ask you, are you in a position that you could go and buy some new sneakers?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it sounds like the biggest opportunity barriers is really the shoes. Sounds like everything else is okay. You've got some support and obviously the time. So motivation, let's get to motivation. So that might be the bigger one for you. In order to do that sort of 20 minutes of activity, whether it's gardening or walking, would you need to feel a want to do it or a need to do it more?
Well, I know I need to do it, just don't want to.
Okay, so need is fine. It's sort of, like we talked about, you're at that contemplation stage, but you sort of really don't want to do it. Do you actually think about planning that into your day at the moment? Is that something that you sort of schedule into your day?
No.
Okay, all right. So maybe the planning. And I'm just wondering about this one here, believing it would be a good thing to do. To me, that kind of links in a bit with what you said about no one's really explained why. So that kind of is probably, it's linked into the same thing, isn't it, there? So we might tick that one as well. So is there anything else from that little list there?
I don't think so.
No, okay. So what I might do is I might even fill in these in a little bit more detail when you've gone, just these boxes about why these are factors, if that's okay, just so we can keep moving on.
Yeah.
But really, that's given me a good idea. It sort of said that probably the main barriers at the moment to you sort of being physically active are sort of physical strength and endurance, knowing about why it's important, some new shoes, and then just thinking about planning into your day, that sort of thing. All right, so I'm going to download that and then I can just finish filling that in later if that's all right.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go back to our toolkit and thinking now about some of the strategies we can use to support some of these barriers that we've identified. I might just start with this one because this links back into those stages of change. So we talked about the fact that you are really at this sort of contemplation stage. You know, that you kind of know you need to be doing it, but you just haven't got started on that yet. So these are some of the strategies around that. So identify activities that your client likes and could start with. Is there anything? What do you think in relation to that?
Well, I guess, I'd like to get back to the garden, but
Yeah.
it's really overwhelming because it's just so full of weeds now.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so just taking that first step might be hard. So wondering about whether, because one of the other strategies is enlisting a support person. Do you think if we asked, what was your daughter's name? Sorry,
Jasmine.
Jasmine, to help you as kind of a one-off, got the weeds under control, then you might be more, you might feel more motivated and inclined to get out there and do that every day or every second day, get out in the garden.
I guess if I explained it to her and told her how important it was, she could help.
Okay, all right, so that might be a strategy that we can use. Okay, all right. And then the other thing from here, obviously, is understanding about the benefits, and that we've talked about that a couple of times. I think we'll definitely, I've got some information, if it's okay to share with you, around activity and the links to sort of secondary stroke and general health and sort of health outcomes. So I can share that with you, and maybe you can take it home, and then maybe when you bring it back next time, we might have a look at some of the points together if you're willing to have a look at that. Does that sound okay? Just to help you with your actually understanding why it's important. I know you've said that people keep saying to keep moving, but you don't really kind of get that.
Yeah.
So I'll share some resources with you if that's all right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now, just to really make sure we've got considering other behaviour change strategies, we've got this great big table here, which is taking us through the different capability, opportunity, motivation that we've already mentioned to you. I think a big thing is around that endurance that you've talked about, and making sure that we're building up how long you're out in the garden for or how long you're walking for. Okay, so when we talked about motivation, one of the things was around planning. So I think that probably we could, it says here about a monitoring and feedback system, but even if we're thinking about things like using a phone alarm or even a chart to put up on the fridge so you can mark off whether you've been out in the garden, that sort of thing. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are all some strategies that we can incorporate into our big plan. Okay, so I think we're ready to look at the behaviour change plan. So we are going to do the full behaviour change plan because I think we've got to really factor in these barriers that we've identified and some of the strategies that we've identified as well. So the first part is, if the treatment worked out as you hoped, so the big picture, in what ways would your health and life be broadly more better?
Well, I guess I feel I have more energy and the garden won't be as annoying to do because it'll be like not so overwhelming anymore.
Yeah. So at the moment, do you sort of look out the window and you go,
"Oh, it's
ugh."
too much."
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that strategy of getting Jasmine to help will probably be good there. So in terms of making it happen, what are some of the changes you might need to make in order for this to happen?
I guess I need to build up my strength and stamina and, as you said, work out how to plan to do it each day.
So strength and stamina, add in some planning. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So how would you feel about, if we're talking about setting you up with getting you into the garden every day, 15, 20 minutes as a starting point? How would you feel about making that happen now in terms of how ready you would be to do that?
So out of 10, maybe 6.
6 out of 10? That's not too bad. It's better than halfway. Yeah. So what do you think would be a good starting point?
I guess if I start and do like one session with Jasmine to get the weeds under control, that'll help with my confidence as well.
That's a good
And then
point.
maybe I can just start with 15 or 20 minutes and build up, but just make sure I'm not too tired.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty good starting point. And yeah, you do have to watch that fatigue. Obviously, that's something that you've talked about a few times. Okay, so let's just fill this in relation to the specific change. So we're talking about Saran and Jasmine as a one-off. Then Saran, 15 minutes we start with?
Yeah.
Per day? Do you reckon every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try.
Is there certain times of the day that are better for you?
Well, I can't do anything in the afternoon, so
You get more tired in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so stick to the mornings.
Yeah.
And do you think that's going to fit in? Oh, so the one off with Jasmine, that can be on a weekend.
Yeah,
so,
I do that on a
yeah,
weekend.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess you just need to check off that you're safe to do that by yourself on the other mornings. Now, we did already tick off some of these when we did the combi, so we can just tick these just so they're all on the same document. We did want to know why it was more important, and we're going to provide you with some education around that, and physical skills, and I think stamina was the other one. So it's sort of physical limitations, and then we talked about the shoes, and then obviously Jasmine helping you, and then we talked about wanting to do it. So that's something that's going to take a little bit of time, and hopefully once you can see that you can do it, and you get some joy out of it that you used to get from the garden, hopefully that's going to be something that's just going to develop over time. And talk about some plans as well. So we put those in there. Okay, so I'll just fill this in as well. So the change is that, so garden daily, sort of 15 minutes, maybe building up to 20 minutes. When do you think would be a good time to review that? Like after a week or 2 weeks, and see if we can increase the time that you're doing?
No, maybe a week.
Okay, so 1 week. And strategies that we're doing to help with that. So we're going to get some shoes, and then we're going to get Jasmine to help us with that one off. And then we're going to, just in relation to the understanding, we're going to provide you with some education materials which we can discuss rather than you just reading those yourself. And probably get you to have a chart on the fridge. That's pretty good also, because I'm going to ask you if it's okay for you to bring that back next time I see you. So that's kind of good for accountability as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the strategies, we'll tick these just because they're here. So we've talked about training your strengths, so building up, social support, and it's probably resources in relation to shoes, getting out there and hopefully getting some sort of positivity around being out in the garden. It's amazing. Green space is very
I'd like that.
effective for mood, I think.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with that plan, we can spend a bit of time in the second half of this session just having a bit more of a look at that. What I'm going to ask you to do, if that's okay, is to keep a record of this. So you've got the record on the fridge, but you can just also maybe just jot down some thoughts. If particular things don't go okay, which might happen, then you can maybe jot down here, well, what happened, and then we can look at modifying the plan. Because if it doesn't go to plan, it's more the planning that's been the issue rather than you. So
Okay.
don't feel bad about that. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
And then I'd really like to review you probably next week. Even if we check in by phone next week and then we check in person the week after. Okay, so when we review, we'll have a look at this document again. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds okay. I guess it's not too much and it's doing something I enjoy, so hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, okay. So I won't keep you much longer because, you've been here a while. But one thing I wanted to just touch back on with the toolkit is at the top here we have a whole lot of other resources. And I wanted to show you this because one thing you've mentioned a couple of times is the baking and the cooking is an area of interest. Is that something, I know you'd have to make some modifications and maybe get some assistance because your arm's not working brilliantly, but is that something you're interested in? Yeah. So there is lots of different stroke-related websites, and there's this one called iRebound. Have you heard of that?
No.
No, so I'll just show you that there because this the toolkit links to iRebound, and this is really about eating well after stroke, and it's got really good recipes. So I thought that might be something that would interest you. We won't look at that now, but I can provide that information for you, and you can have a look at that when you've got more time, just to sit and, that they look pretty yummy, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I never really know what I should be eating to stay healthy, so so that works.
Great. Okay, well, I think we are done for today. Is there anything you wanted to check about the plan?
No, I think it's all good.
So all good. So probably the first thing to do is to pin Jasmine down to help you with that one-off, get the garden ready, and then get your shoes and take it from there.
All right.
Cool. All right. Great.
Thanks.
Well done. It's good to see you, and hang in there, and we'll try and work on some of these things that are sort of meaningful for you as a person. But really acknowledging that it's really hard as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing a great job, and you're doing a great job just coming today.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Good to
Thanks.
see you, Saran.
Thanks.
Bye bye.